Absolute Sword Sense. By Hanjun Liulia. Chapter 32. Position Test. Part 1. My mind went blank at the great doctor's words. They were words I thought I would never hear. My dantian was still damaged not long ago, so I was stunned at this news. I guess you didn't know. Well, that is why you asked for your dantian to be healed. My reaction must have seemed funny. He smiled, then he took his hand, put it on my abdominal muscles, and pushed. Clench. Why are you doing this? This is where the dantian is located. I don't know about you, but if you touch this place, there should be a weird feeling, like something is moving. Something moving. The pieces of a damaged dantian. Ah. It was said that even a broken dantian would have pieces remain. However, there is a small flow within, as if the embers were revived like a burning bonfire. It is quite rare. The dantian is reviving itself. You are saying my dantian has healed itself? Upstat from 4 now, I can only guess. This was something I never expected. The dantian which didn't heal all my past life was now being healed after my rebirth. Ah. I feel drunk. Well, congratulations. Wanhui. Both of the swords like this. You said it was rare, so were there such cases like me? It is rare to be able to come across one like this. In the first place, if their dantian is broken, most people give up. So it is rare to see it healed. Even the great doctor hadn't come across such cases. Having said that, the great doctor placed the plaque on the table. I didn't treat you, so here is the plaque. Take it. He was honest. If all people were like him, the world would overflow with trust. Either way, I was lucky. In this case, I even got a plaque from the great doctor. Even if I had gotten 2 without being healed, I could have used one to get the dantian treated. Can it be useful? Yes. The great doctor placed his plaque on the table. Putting it there meant I should take it, and I thanked him. What are you so thankful for? As he said that, he smiled. It would be the best thing if I had a good relationship with this man. After confirming the dantian inside me, I left the hall and returned to Hayak Chun. I requested the great doctor not to let others know about my dantian getting better. Recognizing my intention, he nodded. Fortunately, he wasn't the kind of man to speak about his patients. It is better for me to hide the truth because Hayak Chun might covet the plaque of the great doctor. But, how about your dantian? Short Sword asked, puzzled. I had a few guesses. What? Do you remember the cultivation I did in the waterfall? After the fangs pierced my foot, I performed cultivation, and my body felt clean. Within a short period of time, the chi in my body changed, and even my wound began to heal. I didn't realize that my dantian was also healed then. Oh. Right. That could be. If that is true, you should be thankful to the demonic spirit for doing that. Honestly, I was thankful. If he hadn't attacked, all of this wouldn't have happened. Why aren't you talking? Iron Sword said to Short Sword. A healed dantian is definitely good. There is, however, a concern. Concern? My former owner could only learn the cultivation method after he destroyed his dantian. So? Can you do it now? Practice without internal damage? Ah, come to think of it, the cultivation technique I was taught worked with a broken dantian. I somewhat understand what the Iron Sword was saying. I was the same. Was it possible for innate chi and internal chi to coexist? I couldn't give a sure answer. I had no such skills. That makes sense. I think it is better to be careful. Wanhui. If we try to hold everything in our hands, we might lose everything. Did your former owner also say that? Was it the request of Ha Yun or the granddaughter of the former cult leader? Hayak Chun, who repeated the same thing again, sighed as he said. Did you see her in the main hall yard? Her, you mean the woman with red eyes? Red eyes? Huh, you went that far? Hayak-chun clicked his tongue. Seeing his unusual expression, was it possible that something had happened? He kept looking at the mountain and said, "You are quite strange." "What do you mean?" "Not just one, but you witnessed two." "Two?" At Hayak-chun's words, I realized I was right. That red-eyed woman had something to do with the blood cult, after all. And she looked so much like Ha-yun. If I pretended to not know, this old man would kill me. "What does it mean to see the two?" Hayak-chun didn't answer and mumbled. "That woman is right. Maybe I need to make a choice?" "Now I understand." Hayak-chun was thinking about who of the two women he had to support. No, looking at the way he spoke, he had no interest in it, but he seemed to be worried about something that Miss Ha-yun had said. Hayak-chun, who looked troubled, said, "Once upon a time, it was good enough to be called the best and strongest in the forces of evil." Did he mean the blood cult? A relentlessly raging storm. I thought getting Kangho in our grasp wasn't a dream with him. But no matter how strong we were, if there were large powers and forces on the other side, we could be broken. It was the same with him. After going through so much, everything felt useless. A voice of despair. He showed a different side from his usual eccentric one. The other ones speak about how to revive the cult, saying it is a revival or revenge, but it all looks meaningless. Hayak-chun got up and stood on the cliff as he continued to talk. So I put down everything and wandered around doing nothing. I'd rather finish things I couldn't in the past and live my life. He was talking about revenge against the South Heavenly Swordsman. I used to think of this old man as crazy, but he wasn't that. Now I know his story. But you know, I was going to live like that, but the seeds he left have grown like weeds and are ready to bloom. The flower blooming had to be the red-eyed woman. The last blood of the blood cult leader. These are the women who would play a vital role in the cult. Sh. Hayak-chun strode to me. He looked sure as he looked at me and said, "At a time like this, what would you do?" Looking at him, he had come to a decision. I don't know why he was asking me despite already having clearly decided. I thought it was better to express my true intentions. If you are going to wait for the flowers to bloom, it is better to leave them as it is, as the teacher said. Otherwise, maybe prepare the manure to help the flowers bloom faster? Hearing that, Hayak-chun frowned and then, "Prepare manure." Ha 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 ha. He laughed out loud and then mumbled. "Right. No matter which flower we choose, we must manure it right." It seemed like he hadn't chosen one yet. It meant that he probably liked both, as he said, "I will have to raise all three." A simple statement that meant a lot. Unlike the other four venerable dignitaries or the 7 blood stars, this monster was moving with the will of not raising his own position but developing his own power. If this happens, the history I knew about this ghastly monster will change. From now on, you will have a lot of work to do. Kol. Work to do. With a smile, he said. There are still 6 months left. Turn into a leader in those months. 6 months? Come to think of it, 6 months from now is when the trainees will be given their first official position after testing. Chapter 33. Position Test. Part 2. All trainees will participate in the position test, which will be held in 6 months. In my previous life, I completed 1 year of training as a low-level warrior and then took the test. As a third-rate warrior with no skill, even among the other third-rates, my position was the least glamorous. Of course, a few low-level warriors later turned into middle-rank warriors, but it was late. By then, you can be a leader. Leader? I felt confused. When I was losing it, he clenched his teeth as if trying to express it. You can do it. He exhaled that as if pondering over his words. It was clearly visible on his face what this man was up to by saying those words. That reaction showed that he was making fun of me. Do you think it will be that easy? The leader position is possible only for the high-ranking warriors, all of whom were first-rate warriors. That was the minimum condition. Song Dwabak licked his lips and said, "It isn't easy, but we have a teacher to help us, so there is no need to worry, right?" Hyung is right. I snorted at the twins' words. Apparently, since they got kidnapped by Hae Ak-chun as soon as they entered the cult, they didn't know how things work. Why? Aren't his words right? This is where your background helps you. Short Sword, too, agreed with them. If the blood cult maintained the same workings as before and was stable, the words of a high person would work. But now, it was in the middle of being revived. Since they were in a position where they had to strengthen their force, they would value skills over personal connections. You mean that without skills, we can throw away the dream of being a leader? There would also be the shame. On the contrary, the expectations of a disciple of Hae Ak-chun would be high, so failing would instead lead to disgrace. If that happened, the crazy man would go mad. I didn't need to go through it to know what he'd do. You speak because you don't know. Teacher, no, elder treating you a disciple up here and the instructors evaluating you as a trainee down there are two different things. You'll make a fool of yourself if you go down there with those thoughts. How do you, know, how does Sayang know that? Well, it's because I had been through it before. This was my second life, after all. It isn't me, but that's what the teacher said. Of course, he didn't say it. Hae Ak-chun only gave me the task of becoming a leader. But I had to speak about everything to ensure that these two also came to their senses. I almost forgot. He also told me to prepare myself if I don't receive a major position after 6 months. You know what that means? Song Dwabak's face went stiff at the word prepare. Since he had been through Hae Ak-chun's lessons, he knew better than anyone. Yeah. If you don't want to be fucked up, get up. This was good. The twins went to train right away as if they were motivated. They also passed the message to me that they would start to train in earnest. Even for me, such a significant position was a wall I could never dream of overcoming in my previous life. I went to the cave where the remains of the South Heavenly Swordsman were located. There were no bones in the cave now. Still, he was the owner of Iron Sword, and he taught me swordsmanship, so I couldn't leave the bones alone. A tomb was built on the mountain's peak, higher than any place Hae Ak-chun could easily see. Later, if there is a chance, I should move them to a sunny place and also make sure to build a monument for him. But where did that old man go in a hurry? Well, Hae Ak-chun, who told me to tell the twins of his instructions, left in a hurry saying he had to go somewhere. He said it would be done within a week, but I couldn't figure out where he went. But, judging from Hae Ak-chun's hasty temper, it had something to do with raising us 3. He was fast. I don't know what will happen next. The ghastly monster. The Hae Ak-chun I knew didn't have any force behind him. What do you know? I had no details about Hae Ak-chun's life. But there was some information that I knew. Hae Ak-chun acted independently, contrary to what others of his level did. He was acquainted with one of the 8 great warriors and lost his right arm to someone. That was 6 years from now. The South Heavenly Iron Sword, the most anxious one, sighed. Today was a lucky day. It felt like my life, which had been stuck since my return, was slowly unraveling and moving. It has been a while, Dan Tion. The one that left home had come back. 3 days passed like that. During my 3 days of cultivating internal chi, I learned 2 things. Fortunately, I was able to handle innate chi and internal chi. Still, it was impossible to use both at the same time. The innate chi cannot be mixed with the internal chi. And the opposite was also true. If I tried to make it happen, I felt like both chi had different feelings and paths they took. It would be nice to use them both simultaneously, but for now, I had no choice but to be satisfied with this. Even if my internal chi is exhausted, I still have the innate chi left to use. Depending on the situation, I could use it like a hidden card. And the second lesson was that I needed a different internal chi cultivation method, not the one learned from my family. It is lacking. For basic learners, the cultivation method wasn't bad. Still, even if I used it for an entire day, I could not absorb the yang energy and ice chi in my veins. For this reason, the internal chi's growth was slower than the innate chi's. The most necessary thing right now was to get a technique that worked efficiently with my body. How about learning the old man's method? What? That old man's technique that makes the blood circulate faster or something? Huh. Look at this one. Well, it did make sense. In the beginning, meridians are just a path through which the blood and chi flow. If Hei Akchen's cultivation method can be learned, it should push the blood faster into the body. The paths played the same role in cultivation, so it might be possible to absorb the chi in my veins. You are smart. He. Right? Right? Short Sword replied excitedly. Sometimes this one could think of things I had never considered before. This was definitely a possibility. However, Hei Akchen had made sure to let me know that the cultivation method required a specific body condition for it to work, like the twins. Although I am a disciple, I wasn't sure he would teach me. And he might not teach me, considering that it could harm me. Still, there is nothing wrong with asking. Or if you let him know about the chi in your veins. Not that. It is better to hide it. Hei Akchen had indeed changed from before. However, hiding my condition was still the right choice unless I had a more intimate relationship. Then how about asking the twins? Iron Sword asked. Ho. Right. They learned it, too, right? The twins came to know it after they officially became his disciples. They were properly taught the methods, but would they do what I asked? Yeah. You are so naive. Throw the bait. Bait? They hated it to the point of death that they had to call you Sayang, right? Try using that. We never know. Right? Would that work? There was nothing wrong with trying. Anyway, there seemed to be a long time before Hei Akchen came back, so it would be a waste of time to train using a lacking method. I got up early the following day, went to Song Juabek, and asked him to teach me the true blood gold body cultivation technique. As expected, he rejected it. Never ever, anyway, the teacher told me not to tell anyone. And he laid down and began to sleep again. He cannot tell me the method. I don't know if the short sword's technique will work, but I decided to try. Eh? Really? My dantian is restored, but I don't know when the teacher will return, so I asked in advance. Since we are of the same level, it should work, right? At this point, if I learn the teacher's technique from my Saji, I was planning to live like disciples of the same level. You are clever. Well, I can do this much. But I wasn't too sure. This wasn't a simple method, so I didn't think he would fall, but he looked like he was considering it. He had a weird expression on his face. What? Was he actually being swayed by the concept of being equals? He hesitated for a moment by lying down and looking at me as he squinted his eyes and said, Equals? Ah. He took the bait. Short Sword said proudly. Chapter 34. Position Test. Part 3. Small Short Sword's devious scheme made him take the bait. I thought he wouldn't teach me the technique because he would be scared of Hei Akchen. Still, when he heard my proposition for us to become equals, he immediately fell for it. I guess he didn't like me being Sayang. In a way, I couldn't understand how Short Sword managed to know this guy's heart so well. Right, a child is a child. Well, he hasn't even stepped into manhood. I am just 16 or 17 now, but it is hard to call either of us the same. Besides, he must have hated it even more since we were the same age. But what of it? Hei Akchen wasn't the kind to care about that. Right now, he doesn't like calling me Sayang and all, but in the future, he will be shouting my name and begging. How is it? Wenhui. South Heavenly Iron Sword asked me as I was cultivating the new technique. It was a feeling which couldn't be put into words. It felt like blood was gushing inside my body. It was like being hung upside down on a cliff. You look very red. Like your face is going to explode. Short Sword said while clicking her tongue. I think I understood why she was saying that. Because the blood in my body was circulating around very quickly. It is hot. I could feel the temperature of my body rising. I could understand why this was a technique only those with a particular constitution could perform. Hei Ak-chen used this technique, but a normal person could never even attempt it. Do you think it will work? It should. I am sure. When I used the technique of my family, the ice chi and yang energy didn't even budge, but now I could make them flow little by little. Getting the balance right was the key. It's been less than half an hour. Hook. Hook. No more. Usually, when one practices chi cultivation, they would enter a state of peace when they end it. On the other hand, the true blood gold body cultivation technique made it difficult to attain peace as it manipulated the flow of blood, making the heart beat violently. So doing this for a long time was impossible. For the time being, I think you need to divide your cultivation using half of this technique and half using your family technique. Right, look at how much you are sweating now. Do people sweat while cultivating? Well, this was a first for me too. Still, there were results. Even after 3 days of cultivating using my family technique, I could gather very little qi in the dantian, and the ice qi and yang energy stayed still. But using the new technique for just half an hour, I got better results than in the past. 6 months. Can my internal qi reach the state of a first-rate warrior? I felt a presence outside the cave. The only other people who knew about this place were the twins and Hei Ak-chen, so who is it? Tack. Someone came into the cave. A woman who covered her face with a white cotton cloth. And her eyes were exposed. She seemed to be one of the women under the 6th blood star. She looked at me and said, "Young master. Could we ask for your time? The 6th blood star seeks you." Me? I followed her to the 6th blood valley and the main hall. When I asked how she found me, she said that Song Juabek had told her. There was a small vacant lot on the outside, and there were 2 other women, but not the 6th blood star. Isn't that the one girl? Short Sword recognized one of the women. No, she was still a girl. The girl with a pure white face and concave features, Dam Yewa, had joined as a trainee at the same time as me. She was receiving something from a woman wearing a white cloth face covering. Ah. It had to be this time. I remembered when Dam Yewa was selected as the disciple of the Bloody Hand Witch. She must have stood out while being a trainee. When I arrived, they stopped what they were doing. The woman I was with guided me and asked me to wait near the main hall. I can just be asked to enter. Why make me wait outside? Excuse me, you were that one boy, right? I was planning on waiting quietly, but Dam Yewa came and spoke to me. I think she remembered me from back then. It would have been strange if she didn't remember me considering what I did when I received the blood parasite. It has been a while. I answered with a slight bow. Dam Yewa looked young but already felt like a woman. I couldn't treat her the way I treated Song Juabek. When I first saw her, she looked so scared, but now she was quiet and confident. Perhaps because she was chosen as a disciple. Are you training as a middle-rank trainee? It felt like she came to tell me about her being a disciple. Seeing the expression on her face, she seemed excited about bragging about becoming a disciple of 6th blood star too. It was good, but well, this showed that she is young. Stop. Sammy. The woman in the white cotton mask stopped her from speaking, causing her to bow. I apologize. Mississippi. It looked like the disciple was well disciplined. She wanted to brag, but she was stopped, so she probably felt embarrassed due to being scolded in front of me. Not long after, the Bloody Hand Witch, Hanbika, appeared. I don't know how many sets of black clothes she had, but she looked like a Grim Reaper each time I saw her. I also couldn't see Miss Ha-yun. There were the other 2 of the women who had been there before, but Miss Ha-yun was missing. Chuck. When I tried to greet her, she raised her hand and said, "Enough." And then came close to me and pulled something out of her hand. It was a plaque. Showing her plaque, she spoke with an expressionless face. The disciple of our elder did something amazing. It seemed like she was giving me praise for being his disciple. Thanks to that, damn Yewa, who discovered I was that crazy man's disciple, stared at me wide-eyed. Right, I had a better background. But why was Han Bika showing off the plaque? Sixth blood star, what do you mean by this? You made a bet, right? I guess she heard it from Miss Ha Yun. I don't know how much she said, but the fact that Han Bika knew meant that Miss Ha Yun at least told her. Even if it stank, I liked it. It was common sense to try it, at least. I am sorry, how can I covet the technique of? She cut me off again. If I win, the young master can tell his teacher to reconsider my proposal. Simple, right? This wouldn't be much of a loss to the young master. That was her purpose. It seems like she wanted me to persuade Hayak Chun. But I didn't know which side the old man was leaning towards. Still, there is no harm for you. It was definitely not a bad condition, but these are just words. I can only judge based on what the bet is. Yewa. And then she called damn Yewa. The girl walked up to the front. This low-level trainee is a kid I took in 3 days ago. Having never mastered martial arts, she had to be a low-level trainee. That was why she was taken under the 6th blood star. I will teach this child the ladies' treatment for as long as I stay in the 6th blood valley. There is a position test 6 months from now. Until then, the purpose is to raise this child into a higher rank warrior. She said it so casually, but it was an arrogant statement. To make a first-rate warrior in just half a year. Well, she at least is better than Hayak Chun. The man just told me to take the place of a leader and not just a first-rate warrior. Looking at this, I could clearly understand why this was the reason those who mastered martial arts put in the effort to have excellent disciples. Betting is easy. It is a contest to see who will become a higher-ranked warrior among the two. Han Bika's eyes showed confidence. It was because she found a kid with inherent talent and coveted her. She thought of this bet because she was sure of making this child into a first-rate warrior. What if both of us become first-rate? Then you two will compete, and we see who wins. A very warrior-like idea. There was no draw. I said to listen, and you ended up accepting it. I have to aim higher than that. So be quiet and take it. My goal wasn't to become a first-rate warrior. It was to be a leader. It can be an adventure or a motivator for me. If I win, I get a chance to know one of her techniques, which are known to be one of the best in the cult. There is nothing wrong with losing. You can say that you will consider it. Not that. Why? If I deliver those words, regardless of whether I bet or not, I will be giving the old man an impression that I stepped to the side of Baek Ryan-ha. Perhaps this was her goal. That was not good for me. There is something I learned as a spy. What is that? If you are not sure, never bet. You learned that as a spy? It is like some kind of gambling rule. It is similar. What? When a power struggle happens, one shouldn't be biased. Why? Isn't that fat kid better than that red-eyed one? At least she is helping you. Of course, in terms of friendships, this was correct. However, perhaps her favor was given after already calculating me to be the old man's disciple. Maybe this was her move to coax me. Well, it could be. Still, I hate the other one more. You never know. Maybe the red-eyed woman holds the majority interest in the current blood cult. Why? How can you know that without seeing anything? If that was not the case, she would have come to persuade Hayak Chun like Miss Ha Yun or Baek Ryan-ha did. Ah, right. The red-eyed woman just asked me to send her regards to the old man. The way she spoke was relaxed too. Looking at that alone, she must already have had the upper hand in the fight. And she decided to not even hide that. Therefore, it is dangerous to get close to one side. If Beck Ryanha doesn't become the cult leader, then the people on her side might be killed. Either they get taken advantage of or killed miserably. This applies to the forces of justice as well as all other sects. I see. What? The reason why you survived so long despite the power struggle. Right. If you don't get noticed, you don't die. And in this life, I was going after power. In the vacant lot that So Wonhui had just left, a woman with a white cotton mask on her face appeared. Everyone, including the bloody hand witch, bowed their heads to her. The woman was the formerly plump Beck Ryanha. Normally, she should be around the same size as the other two fat women, but she had lost a little weight. Did he accept it? Beck Ryanha asked as Hanbika nodded. He accepted. I don't think he is as smart as you said. Hanbika was confident that she would win the bet. This child, Dam Yewa, whom she had discovered has the best body, which works well with her technique. More than any of the disciples she had. If she taught her intensively for half a year, she was sure of making her a first-rate warrior. If we win the bet, it will be easier to convince that man through the child. Hanbika was sure. Well, do you not believe in it? I do. But, he isn't the kind to get into losing bets. Beck Ryanha was convinced that Wonhui would never bet on a losing hand. Hanbika smiled and said, Hoo, don't worry, miss. With this child's talent, we will never lose. Trust me. Dan Yewa spoke in a voice of determination. She too was determined to win it for the teacher who selected her. And 6 months passed.